Okay, well, then moving right along, let me go to Martin Brechbiel, the MMR, for Martin's Scratch Build Corner. Martin, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Get myself into gear here, or something like it. There you go. Okay. More than a little bleary-eyed, I'm working on two different sets of galley proofs for two different publications at the same time. And it's been a long day, and I'm not anywhere near done with either. Well, I may be done with both publications, but I'm not done with the galley proofs. A fine distinction there. So, where did I stop? 2 weeks ago, I assembled the building and teased you with the interior that I'm not going to do, but it could be done. We're going to move on from here. I'm actually going to finish this probably tonight, if I don't get totally confused in the process of advancing my own slides. So, I must be getting to the end tonight. It says so on the slide. Okay, so we put a roof in over the kitchen addition, just some 1/32 sheet basswood. Trim that in there to fit. It's a little more complicated than that, though, because I actually set these all up to be removable. And underneath of it, there's a bunch of 3/16" square balsa blocks, and these are fitting up against the back wall block of balsa, and the two sides, it snaps into place. You have to actually sort of, there's some realistic friction involved in snapping that into place, but once in, it stays, but it is removable with care. Okay, so let's put the other roofs on. Roofs, whichever. First floor roof, I decided, well, there's no reason to go in there anyhow, so we're not going to make that removable. That's glued into place. Then I had to chop a few holes through it, let these little bits pop up through. I'll come back to them later. But just a sheet of 1/32 basswood. This roof is removable, the second floor roof. And this is a little tricky because you have to assemble it as two pieces and have them line up and attach to each other smoothly and lock into place into that second floor wall structure. So it stays where you put it, as opposed to falling off or sliding around. So I actually built one half of it and then attached the other half. And underneath of it, hey, guess what? There's more of that 3/16" balsa. So with a little bit of care, drawing some lines, you know where to put the balsa on the inside, 1/16 of an inch inside of the wall, glue it into place, get it centered where you want it, glue these two pieces together, these two pieces of balsa on. That'll keep it from going back and forth. This keeps it from falling off the side. Repeat process, connect the two together, run a hunk of scrap wood down the middle with a bunch of carpenter's glue, put it back into place, hold it in place with some steel weights, and come back tomorrow, and you have a removable roof. That L there tells me that's the left side, so I know which side is which. Because no matter how good you are, how careful you are, they're not going to be exactly the same left and right. They're going to be slightly different. So you have to know which one's which and take it on and off the same way every time. You don't want to fight the battle trying to be perfect. You get close enough, be good enough, stop there. You try for perfect, it's a sure route to the rubber room and the asylum. So put it all back together. Look at some things here. We've had it on the front entry roof. This is a piece of scribe siding turned upside down. The scribing's underneath, so it could be seen if you really wanted to see it. Okay, somebody standing on the front porch looking up would see it. Some little ornamental pieces here made out of some real, I forgot what size dowel that is, but there's 3 pieces there. It's glued together, then it's beveled, glued into place. The front got that, the back didn't. The front's the money side of the house. We're too cheap to do the back. A lot of Grant Line doors and windows. Okay, paint them all, loads of fun. Glaze them all, no fun involved in that whatsoever. I find that to be the most tedious part of building structures that I can think of doing. I put it off to as long as possible, then I sit down and do it all in one fell swoop, because if I stop, I may never come back. I've forgotten what size polycarbonate's behind it, probably 10 or 15 thousandths. I may have used Mylar or for the overhead projector film. But you measure it and cut it with a scalpel, measure it by the millimeter, cut it with a scalpel, drop it into place. It's in there with a little bit of goo around the fringe, around the edge. It is possible to use goo without making a complete and total heaping, slimy brown pile of goo. You can, if you're very gentle with the tube, get very, very little to come out of the tube, very discrete amounts. And I added a little bonus here, the Berkshire Valley fancy door latch. Grant Line doors don't come with that latch. That's a white metal casting that's painted brass with my dwindling supply of flow quill brass. Okay, we'll splash some paint on it. I don't know what that color is. That is a blue and a green from Polyscale. It's, you know, when I do buildings, I get to a certain point and then I recruit my better half and say, what color do you think this should be? And we then go through my entire stock of Polyscale bottles of paint, 50, 60, 70 bottles, and we go through them 18 or 19 times and then pick out two. And these are the two. And you say, thank you, dear, and you keep moving because I trust your eyes better than mine. You never want to see some of the horrific color schemes I've actually come up with on some of my buildings that she came down and said, what were you thinking? So better to just avoid that up front. So the back looks like that. And you can see, okay, so instead of the 3 posts on the corner, it just gets the single post. And they actually pop up through the roof. That's what those little things are on the others. You saw them earlier. And this roof fits in here pretty smoothly. And just a side view. First coat of paint or two. You got 3 or 4. And so we'll get closer to the end of the business. We got the doors and the windows installed. I put those in. Usually they snap into place pretty tightly. You never want them to be really tight because then they'll warp, they'll break. Your glazing will pop loose. You'll break the window if you force it. So this is where you get out a brand new number 11 blade in your knife, and you have to open it up just another 0.5 millimeter. Just do it. It won't hurt. A little bit of goo holds them in place. We have a 3D printed chimney. I've forgotten who that came from. But they were on eBay and they were 3 or 4 for under $10. And I thought, what am I waiting for? I can't build a chimney for that much money. So I bought a pack or 2 of those. That's just a couple of colors of red and some black and some browns, Polyscale on it. It's put in place on the wood roof with a little bit of goo and CA. Then we have some copper flashing around it, step flashed around it. It's 0.5 thousandths or 5 thousandths, sorry, 5 thousandths copper foil. I still have some that I picked up at a state auction from a model railroader almost 20 years ago, and I'm still using the same roll. I'm still using the tubing I got from him too. Harry Roberts, I don't know, Jim may remember the name.
Yeah.
I bought a box of goodies that I'm still using 20 years later. So we have leftover patterned shingles on the upper roof, which I think may have come from rail scale a long time ago. The standing seam, it's Detail Associates on the first floor roof. More of the patterned shingles, different vendor though on the front porch with some more copper flashing. First floor roof doesn't get copper flashing. We're too cheap. That's just tar paper and more tar paper and some more tar. Upstairs is where you live. You have to have a better roof. It looks better that way. Again, those corner ornaments pop through the roof because they were there before the roof was added. And we'll go around backside. You can see a little bit better. Kitchen roof is corrugated because it's the kitchen. We get cheaper as we go around the back, go to the lesser interesting roof. And you can see there's a smoke jacket that's made out of some copper tubing and some 5 or 10 thousandths brass wrapped around the one end. It's all soldered together, painted black with a brass washer soldered to it and stuck into the wall. Pretty straightforward. I've shown how to do that a couple of times. It's very easy to do. There's the back door, and you can see more of that smoke jack, etc. right there. And of course, a 2-stone foundation with some steps. And we get to the last slide. Yes, this is the JV Books house, and we're done. Until I do something that's really silly, like mount it to a piece of plywood and start doing scenery work on it, and planting shrubbery and all that fun stuff, and adding fences but that's for another day and another show and probably another year, maybe another lifetime. But we're done here tonight, so I'm ready for any questions you may or may not have.
Good looking structure, Martin.
Well, that was a quick and easy one.
And it doesn't have wheels on
It doesn't have wheels on it. No, it doesn't.
it.
Next week, I'll start building something that has wheels under it.
Martin,
Well,
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You started the interior and then you said you weren't going to finish it, but you left the roof removable. Are you going back someday?
Yeah, someday, someday. It's that day that comes after maybe tomorrow, but maybe not. I don't know. I sometimes, interiors need to be better planned out than I did this one. How's that for a better answer? Sometimes you get too far ahead of yourself, and when you decide to do an interior, it becomes less and less possible, or I could do it, but it wouldn't make sense. And I like it to make sense.
Yeah, once you start doing that, then you need to have stairs going up to it and a bathroom and
I had the space set aside for a bathroom, and I had an area designated for the stairwell, and that's why the windows on the one side and the first floor are spaced as where they are.
Huh?
But
well, you needed some Victorian wallpaper and you're ready to go.
yeah, and some rugs and some art on the walls, and the right toilet flashing, flushing with the tank up on the wall high and all that fun stuff.
I have 3 words for you.
Yes, sir.
Acrylic flat black.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. But I also would add a partition or two in the first floor again, just to keep light from,
Yeah.
so you can't see through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find that irksome when I'm visiting a layout and I look at a structure and I can see right through the windows out in one end and out the other end, and I can see the scenery on the other side. Like, no, there's not too many houses that are designed with that in purposely so you can see all the way through, unless it's shotgun.
No, it's better when you see from the first floor windows or second floor windows back down to the first floor windows.
That's even better.
I have a fix for that too. Spray the outside with tall coat.
Yeah. Or the other option there, Tom, is to add curtains and dull coat from the inside before you put the castings in place.
There you go.
And I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah,
Sheet of black construction paper put in the big building at a 45-degree angle.
Yes, that's the other option.
that'd be
Construction
fancy
paper,
for me.
well, almost any color will work except white because it's dark on the inside. you can get away with a lot of things that way.
Thanks so much, Martin. We'll see you next week.
Yep, we'll have fun doing something. I'm not sure which set of cars will be on the docket.
Gotcha. Look forward to it.